Ethan Klein and Adam McIntyre. Let's talk about it. So I do want to put a disclaimer out there that I follow both of them, okay? So Adam McIntyre is a commentary YouTuber, right? So is Ethan, I'm pretty sure. He commentates on his podcast. His takes aren't always the best, especially with like the Brooke Schofield situation. Like, that was crazy how he was just like, well, she was 16. It was a whole thing. Y'all saw it. We all saw it. It was pretty bad.
At 16, you should get a lot of grace, I feel like. 16, let's be real. Who of us hasn't? I mean, she's old enough for Cody Ko to have sex with. I don't know what that means.
Adam McIntyre posted a video, and basically he was reacting to Trisha Paytas going on this podcast talking about how Frenemies was kind of traumatic for her. Like, she had a couple ODs.
I've had a couple low points. 2007, 2019, I had 2 overdoses that landed me in the hospital. But it actually was 2021 when I had like an actual psychotic break where I was like, ooh, like nothing's working, because
she was really not feeling it. She wasn't feeling it. She wasn't feeling herself. She wasn't feeling nothing. I think Adam was just talking about how Ethan has been the one in the past year just talking on and on about frenemies.
Now, it's important to note that how you brought this up, number one, which is also, to give the benefit of the doubt, this was brought up by a third party. It's just like the amount of times that like frenemies gets brought up. I do have to be honest here, like, obviously this is an external person bringing it up, but we have seen over the last couple months that Ethan will bring Trisha and frenemies up a lot, that he misses the show, misses the friendship. There have been, even when Queen of Melrose was on, there was a moment where they referenced Trisha and stuff. And to be fair, when everything was going down and Trisha was talking a lot about Ethan, everyone was on Trisha's goddamn ass for saying that she will not stop talking about Ethan, and Trisha does not make any reference to Ethan, literally refuses to acknowledge his existence, whereas Ethan and H3 bring up Trisha a lot, and I don't see them getting the same backlash that Trisha once got for bringing Ethan up a lot, which I think is a really weird double standard, if I'm being honest.
Like, especially with that annual fucking show that they have around New Year's where Tana wore like a I Love Trisha shirt, and then like Tana was like, when is Frenemies coming back? And then he kind of, in the recent months, he was like, I would bring Frenemies back if Trisha was up to it. Trisha was like, nah bruh, I'm not up to it, because that was traumatic for me, which is understandable. Like, they weren't compatible together in the podcast. Like, in my opinion, personally, I don't think that they were, because Ethan would say things to piss Trisha off and then she would storm out, or vice versa, where Trisha would comment something and then Ethan would get mad and it would start a fight. A lot of people are saying that the podcast ended because of Moses and Elo, which I don't think is exactly what happened. I think that the podcast would have ended either way, just because of how Trisha and Ethan really just despised each other. Like, it was very apparent that they hated each other, but it was fitting because the podcast is called Frenemies, you know what I mean? Anyways, Trisha used to talk a lot about frenemies.
There's just so much wrong going on right now. They're doing, not only doing nothing to stop it, they have no sympathy, no remorse. This is not random people, this is people they know. They're just begging. If someone asked me to stop talking about them, I would stop fucking talking about them. Never once has Ethan and Hila reached out to me about any of this. They never once asked me to stop, and now I'm just pleading. And their response is, you don't get to tell us what to do.
And she was really the one talking. After she had her kid, she really wasn't talking a whole lot about Ethan at all. Like, we haven't heard anything about frenemies, and even in the podcast where she's addressing that she won't ever make another podcast like that with Ethan, she wasn't even like necessarily talking about Ethan. Like, she chose her words very wisely, which I thought was smart. I think after she had her kid, she really like mellowed out a lot. I love this version of Trisha, and I don't like anybody who's like, I miss the old Trisha. Like, y'all miss her being mentally ill? I'm confused. I did not like how Ethan came after Adam for noticing that Trisha hasn't talked about it and Ethan has, you know what I mean? Like, Adam's also a commentary YouTuber, so obviously, like, he had like a whole frenemies like series. Like, he was really into frenemies. He even watched it, I think, during COVID whenever it was going on. Like, he always says like, this is the reason why I literally got through COVID, was because of frenemies. Now we're gonna get to what Ethan has been doing. So last time Adam posted a video talking about these two, talking better about Trisha, a little less better about Ethan. Ethan was trying to find something to kind of talk shit about Adam for, kind of drag him for. And so he decided to call Adam a creep. Keep in mind, Ethan's mom started this conversation. Adam did not go out of his way to contact Ethan's mom. This was during all of the Colleen stuff. And so Ethan's mom texted Adam. The mom was like, hey, if you're in LA, like, you can come out to eat with us, blah, 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 blah. Adam was like, probably I'm in Ireland right now, or maybe he was in England, I'm not sure. Either way, he wasn't in town and he couldn't go. And so she was like, oh, well, here's some good restaurants you can go to, blah, blah, blah. Very innocent. Ethan took that and tried to turn Adam into a creep.
Here, you little douchebag. And by the way, this kid, I disengaged from this kid when he was creeping on my mom. That's right. Have I said this?
I don't think so.
This little weirdo was chatting up my mom privately, one-on-one, trying to become her best friend. They were chatting, calling, texting. And then when he come into LA, he was going to meet up with her one-on-one. And I didn't know anything about it. And then when my mom told me, I was like, that's weird.
Even went as far to say that the Colleen Ballinger situation was a lie. Even though Ethan was literally like advocating for these people, like for Becky and Oliver. But that's irrelevant. We're not talking about Colleen right now. We're talking about Ethan. So Ethan very much wanted Adam to come to LA for the podcast episode where they were covering all the Colleen stuff. And it just doesn't make sense to me why he would be like, you're lying about Colleen and you're a creep and blah, 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 which ended up coming out that Adam was telling the truth. Literally, like, released the messages, which is what he had to do with Colleen, which is even more funny. Like, I love Adam in the way that he approaches things. I know a lot of people think that he's snarky or he's a big bitch or whatever, but I personally think that he's funny as hell. So that was that last situation that happened with Ethan where he was calling him a creep and all this stuff, and he even called his mom on stream.
Going back in time a little bit, Adam McIntyre, you remember him?
I do. He was very sweet.
So I remember when you were going to meet him for like dinner or something.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's super weird, don't do it.
I remember you said don't do it. Yes.
Do you remember who initiated that invitation?
I think it was him. I think it was him.
He's claiming. So here on August 7th, how did you get his phone number? He's not showing that.
No, we didn't.
No, this is DM.
Oh, this is Twitter DM. Okay.
Yeah.
Carrie and I saw you had COVID. I'm glad your vaccination helped. Feel better, Donna Klein. Nice that you signed it with your full name. He just said, thank you. I discovered I had COVID. I tested positive, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, thank you for the message. Moving along. So he said, I'll be in LA in November. If you have recommendations. And you said, I'll make a list of things. How are you feeling? I'm babysitting my grandson, Teddy, right now. But when Ethan and Hila return from New York, come out before the baby is born in November. Perhaps we can all go out for dinner. Okay, I see. Well, my mom was thinking we were all friends and we were all going to go out.
Right, yeah.
And then he said, oh, wow, thank you so much. There's so much to do and I have no idea, lol. Hope you and Teddy are well. I'm doing better, just feeling better, yada, yada. He says that would be unreal. I'm sure y'all know some good dinner spots too. Don't be too sure of that, kid. I don't know, any good place to eat. Here are some things I would recommend to see and do while you are here in LA. And you gave him a bunch of recommendations. Thank you. Do you have any availability on the 15th? What is that referring to?
Was that for me or him?
He asked you, would you have any availability on the 15th? Like,
Well, I think he might have meant, do you want to go out to eat or something on that? That's what I would take it as.
is she the blue or the gray?
Here's the blue.
Okay.
Was that me or him?
He said, do you have any availability? And you said that's 15 or 16 works. And then he said, I can do 15 with a ton of emojis. So that's it. That's it. I feel like I'm going to have to get my hand on, was that your whole conversation with him? You guys didn't talk about anything else?
No, that was it.
And was trying to get her to say that he's a creep, but she didn't. And so he ended up having to issue an apology to Adam.
Well, I apologize to Adam.
Recently, Adam talked about Trisha again in a better light than Ethan. Within 24 hours, he found something to get mad at Adam for. So as a viewer of Adam, I know why, like, the way that he tweets it and the tones that he's tweeting things in, and I really don't think that he was Ozempic shaming Shane Dawson. I do not think that at all, like, and that's such a big stretch. He put out a statement, and I'll put it on the screen. He basically called Adam a mean girl, which I don't know if y'all know this, but both him calling him a mean girl and a creep are both, like, super derogatory for gay men, because, like, obviously the creep thing is a horrible stereotype that's put on gay men, and the mean girl thing is just, like, I don't know, like, why else would he be calling Adam that besides the fact that he's gay? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that Ethan's homophobic. I just don't think that his state of mind is correct with that. I think that it's very derogatory to be repeating that, especially after Alexa Nicholas just was like, a mean girl, mean adult, mean kid. Like, please be so for real. Ethan is mad at Adam for Ozempic shaming Shane Dawson, right? We touched on that a little bit earlier, but here's the thing. Ethan has also not Ozempic shamed anybody, but literally made a whole topic on his podcast talking about Nikocato's weight and how he couldn't have lost 27 pounds in whatever span amount of time.
If he couldn't provide proof that he did that, then like big ups, whatever.
150 pounds possible in 7 months?
That's what I was wondering. That that's like
safely.
35 pounds a month, which is pretty.
Yeah, I feel like
So was the 250, was that from when he was 400? When he was 400, from 411 to his current weight is 250 pounds. Yeah, because I remember watching videos back a little bit, and he said he's been losing weight. I saw a video earlier this morning, and it was like, oh, I've lost 50 pounds. So he was losing weight, and then he took a break, and then he lost the majority of the weight.
I think it's possible he's lying about how much he weighed too, because I'm having trouble believing he weighed 450.
Well, the point is that at my largest, and I have like 5 inches on him, I was 250. So if he's shorter and fatter, how could he be more than 300? Like, I don't get it.
I think he was.
There's no way. Can we find an image of him when he supposedly was at this peak, 411, to see what he kind of looks like at that point?
Yeah, let's...
Because you're kind of right, Ethan. I don't know if I've ever seen a picture of him that looks like 400 plus.
400 at 5'5" is like bedridden, I feel like, you know?
And it's just like, Ethan, why are you being a hypocrite? Like, I'm so sorry, but like, what is happening? He has to have lost it because like, I don't know any other logical explanation for his behavior. To end this segment, to be honest, it's just, I think that Ethan needs to choose his battles a little bit more wisely, because coming after Adam McIntyre is kind of just below the belt. Like, I feel like Adam has gone through enough with YouTubers, and like, I just saw his collab with Rosanna Pansino, and like, he literally was like, I was afraid whenever you were reaching out to me because I have terrible situations or experiences with famous people. And he's like, I felt like I kind of shunned you out because I have horrible experiences, which she was like, I understand that. Like, and now they're chill or whatever, so that's like irrelevant. But I just think that puts a lot into perspective of how Adam feels on the internet. Like, he doesn't feel like he can trust anybody in his own space. And for Ethan to be like so supportive of him at first and then now is dragging him because Adam has a little bit of a different perception of how Frenemies went, that's just wrong to me. I want to know what y'all's thoughts are on this, because like, I don't know, I watch both of them. I probably still am gonna continue to watch both of them. Ethan I've been watching a little bit less of recently because this isn't like the first time he's done this in the past like year. Like, he's been doing this a little bit off and on, but like especially the past couple of months he's been just starting drama over nothing. So I do think that he needs to just like take a break. Like, he really does. Just talk about other dramas. Don't try and make your own drama. You know what I mean? I understand it gets you more clicks, but leave Adam alone for sure. Like, pick somebody else to have a fight with. Anyways, I hope you guys liked the video. Stay tuned because I'm probably gonna post more things soon. So, doodles!